I started printing something earlier today, and I print so seldom that the printer noise scared my dog. The channel is live, so hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm Christiana Ellis. I'm the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer as Zaylene.
I'm really hot, you guys. I'm just saying.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn.
Good evening.
Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock.
From observation, I believe the average temperature is somewhere between impossible and, oh, that's really, really hot.
That seems like the right scale. And last but not least, Starla Hodgson as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends.
And as you might have concluded from some of the jokes just shared a moment ago, the party is currently stranded on the elemental plane of fire, which, you know, it's hot there.
Are we really stranded if we chose to go there?
Well, you don't currently have a way to get back, is the stranded part.
Well,
You chose to
has an
strand
idea.
yourselves. Yeah. No, you have ideas. You guys are proactive, and as a result, this is not a catastrophe. It is just a problem which does not yet have a presented solution. You have some ideas that you're hoping will develop in promising ways.
And we have friends.
Yes, you did. You discovered, first of all, that the City of Brass, which is the only sort of location that you're actually knowledgeable about in the elemental plane of fire, seems to be still pretty far away, but at least you know the general direction. But you also encountered a caravan of four individuals who seemed a bit like dwarves, except that their skin is bronze like metal, and both their beards and hair are flames. And you were perhaps thinking of making contact with them, only to discover that they were about to be ambushed by these large fire elemental snakes with arms and spears and fire snake like qualities. They're actually called salamanders, despite their being like fire snakes. It's a whole thing. And you decided to take sides with the fire dwarves, who I will now tell you are called Azers. They'll tell you that themselves in a moment. And fought off the salamanders, at which point you were able to communicate with the Azers, and they told you, as it happens, their caravan is actually in need of a security detail, and they wanted to know if you were looking for work.
So as I rappel down from the top of the tower where Nedry put me, like, I'm coming, I'll be there in just a moment. Hit the ground and brush off my hands and
Yes, we all wait for the bard because
we don't know what they're saying.
Yeah,
Nedry
Don't
does.
speak their language.
well,
they are all speaking Ignan, which is a dialect of Primordial, but a couple of you have comprehend languages up, and universal speech.
Why
yes.
can't we ever go anywhere where they speak abyssal and deep speech? Because I speak those things.
I'm sure we will if we keep going.
Yeah.
All right. So I will walk up to our new potential bosses, clients, and I will pull out one of my business cards, and I don't know how hot they run, but I assume these are business cards that are made of paper. But I will hand one over anyway and say, let me introduce myself. My name is Carolina Swift, and we are the Pocket Protectors. This is Zaylene and Zinhorn and Netri.
one of them kind of the one that took the card is kind of examining it, careful to hold it like a ways from his flaming beard. And he looks at it and says, I can't read this, but it's nice to meet you. He kind of offers it back, like if you want it back, or I'll take it. I don't know.
Please. We are new here, but we are happy to help. How are you headed? Where are you headed exactly? How far do you need to be escorted?
Well, we had thought to travel to the city of Brass, but to be honest, we weren't necessarily very enthusiastic about that destination. But our previous lodgings are no longer hospitable to us, and so we hoped that we would find new callings in the city of Brass, but we have found that the journey is even more dangerous than we had feared. We have already been whittled down to half the number we set out with.
That is a shame. May I ask where you're traveling from?
They look to each other with a little bit of a like uncertain expressions, like they're not sure what they should say about it. You can make insight checks if you like. Those of you who can understand what you know, what anyone can make the insight check just based on body language.
15.
Okay.
5. They're not uncertain.
22.
Oh, 22.
14.
Okay. So I think Carolina and Zaleen can get that sense that they seem. I mean, it's obvious that they're hesitant for something. I think Carolina and Zaleen get the feeling that they are maybe. It's less about whether they think they can trust you, and more that they don't know if it's a good idea to tell you. If that makes sense. And so Zinhorn, I think that you get just sort of the feeling from their body language that it's a little bit like what it makes you think of is secretly observing a group of kids who don't know that you can see them, having a conversation amongst themselves about whether they should tell a teacher something. Like they are worried that they will get in trouble, but it is nonetheless something they feel like they're supposed to tell about.
Okay.
But in any case, so they kind of hesitate, and then they just say, we came from further into the mountains, and like I said, we kind of found that it wasn't what we were looking for anymore. We weren't really welcome there anymore, and so we were hoping for something better. But we should introduce ourselves as well. I mean, I'm Nordoth. And this is Brarbuk, Hervik, and Trunk.
I will need you to repeat those for me just real brief. Hold on. Find my... Okay. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. What were they?
There will be quiz. Nordoth is the one who's primarily speaking, seems to be the leader of these four.
Okay.
Brarbuk, Hervik, and Trunk.
Okay.
Those.
They say, but I have to say we're actually pretty curious about you too, because I mean, please don't take any offense here. You say you're new. It seems like you're from another plane and not entirely prepared to be here and travel through these lands. I hope you don't take offense at that, my say so.
None taken. I think it's pretty obvious from anyone even looking that we're a little out of our element.
How in the world did you even get out here?
Um, there was a whole thing with this Ifrit, and we closed his portal, and he wasn't very happy about that. But
At the
yeah,
mention of the word Ifrit, they kind of you know give each other some looks. They just say you know you dealt with an Ifrit and then made him mad.
well, it's more like he ran away.
Okay, well, what was your plan next for what should happen next? I mean, uh,
Well, we had reasoned out that perhaps the city of Brass might have another means of transportation back to the material plane. At the very least, we thought it was the best place to start looking.
uh, yeah, I mean that's probably true. That if you need a way to get back to whatever plane you came from, that's probably the best place to find it. But I mean, that's kind of Efreet City, and I don't even mean that just like colloquially. I mean like it's run by Efreets, and you know they don't let people go through portals for free.
Hmm. Well, yeah, that will be a problem. But we were kind of thinking, one step at a time.
Well, you know, so
Um,
listen, I mean, I know we kind of just implied we were going to offer you a job, but I mean, let us be clear here. You saved our lives. We're grateful. We're in your debt. And I just wish there was more we could do for you because, I mean, and then one of them kind of sort of taps on, so Hervik taps on Nordoth's shoulder and kind of whispers in his ear, and you can make a perception check to hear it if you want.
okay. 12.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I think you don't get it. You don't pick up what he's saying, but Nordoth's reaction is like, look. I mean, okay. So Hervik was just pointing out that we had some extremely valuable things that would be good rewards for you, except that like it's pointless to get into that because we don't have them. Had as in past tense. So I don't know why he thinks it's useful to bring it up. And Hervik suddenly gets all like, well, excuse me if I was just mentioning an idea that I thought would be good for everybody. And he's like, listen, okay. What he's talking about is the magical artifacts and treasures and the things that we had made back home before we were no longer welcome there. But they are still there, and here we are, so we don't have them to offer you, and it would be pretty spectacularly dangerous to for any of us to try to go get them back. So I don't see that as useful. And then Hervik says, they did have 4 amulets of fire resistance, just saying.
How long have you all been traveling?
Well, I mean, it's been just a week and a half or so since we left. I mean, basically, all right, we might as well tell you. Like, are you like? Do you need to get in some shade or something? Like, I'm just watching you all
Well,
sweat, and it's making me
I
kind of.
didn't want to be rude and I didn't want to interrupt, but would you mind if we stepped inside for the conversation?
Yeah, that's amazing. By the way, he points up at this tower that came out of nowhere. Your magic tower. That's
I have no
amazing.
Funny
idea.
what you find stumbling around in pockets.
I have no idea what he's saying, but I just reach over and I touch the tower like covetously.
All right. Well, everyone, let's go in and maybe do we have enough chairs for everybody? It doesn't matter. Let's
uh,
go.
All right. So I think they file. You will allow them in. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll let him in.
All right. I think he actually asks Brarbuk and Trunk to stay outside to watch the carts, but Nordoth and Hervik come in, and
I
they
will.
marvel looking around. Wow, this is crazy.
I will. I will tell Carolina to tell them to tell the other ones that if something does come up, they have permission to just knock, and they'll be able to come inside to get us.
That
I passed the message.
that's good to know. I mean, I think we're hoping we don't lose what little we have left on the wagons, though. So, but yes, no, that's very good. Would hate to have them just have us come out just to find them already dead on the ground or something. But yeah. So in any case, I mean, might as well tell you, you saved our lives. So here's the thing: we used to work for a red dragon, and red dragons are not always the most friendly sorts, but this one was, she worked on based on respect. You treated her right, she took care of you. Like she was not nice, but there was a place to work. It wasn't bad. If you just, don't get on her bad side. But lately, just in the last couple of weeks, she found some weirdo from God knows where, starts whispering in her ear, and now she's creepy and paranoid and irritable, and she starts inviting the salamanders and giving them work. They don't know they're not artisans, but somehow like she prefers them now, and it just made it untenable for us to stay. And
So as they're talking, I'm gonna like sort of I'll translate for the others.
mhm.
Edry's opened his
Thank
book
you.
because it's not on fire in here and is writing furiously as is.
What if this weird person, this weird being that, do you know where they came from? Like, what can you tell us about this?
I mean, I have no idea where they came from. They just wandered in to the compound one day. They look. I mean, I don't even know what I like. I mean, our our dragon mistress liked how red they were because their skin was all red, like a dragon, and like not scaly like a dragon, but more like I don't know, like 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 smooth.
Like a tiefling, maybe?
No, no, no. It was definitely not like a genasi or a tiefling. It was not like not a humanoid. If you follow me,
Was it
uh,
like a demon, maybe?
maybe like I've never seen anything like it before. Big, wide mouth, kind of squinty little weird eyes, no real nose. Didn't wear
Um,
any clothes or have any equipment. Big claw hands.
hmm.
Does this description ring any bells? Like I'm trying to because I don't have an actual picture of dude in the cage in the bag.
Um, it does seem like it sounds a little familiar.
Only redder.
Yeah.
Hmm. That is unsettling. Um and probably look at the others, say, uh remember our a Tanglefoot friend?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds similar. Redder.
Ugh.
I wonder if they're
Huh.
well then.
That means we're gonna have to talk to Tanglefoot, probably.
Mm.
I know we keep putting that off, but I mean, we haven't been in the bag in weeks.
It would be interesting to see if we can remove his curse and see what it changes him, if it changes him.
Maybe he's not even cursed.
Be one way to find out.
Yeah,
So
no.
I'm kind of getting the sense from some of you that what I described sounds maybe like a little familiar somehow.
A little bit. We don't have a lot of information, but what we know isn't good.
What could we take him in the bag and ask him if it's the same? Like we could show him?
It would be possible he'd spend a brief amount of time in a cage, which might be
Well, can't
alarming.
you, I mean, because you're
If you-
attuned to it, can't you decide like who?
Like you take us.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose I could carve out an exception for them. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
Yep.
just have to make sure that the furniture isn't going to attack them.
Okay. Well, I mean, if they don't go into a cage, I
I,
mean,
I
you're
think
in there with us.
you know, Nedry, that if you sort of bring him in with you instead of him getting sucked in sort of by the security method, then he would be trusted inside, and you basically have control over that.
So
I think it'd be
I
all right. Here was looking a little twitchy last time I was in, but I think it should be all right.
so I will look at Nordoff and be like, would you maybe take a look at someone and maybe you could tell if they are the same type of thing?
I mean, sure. You
Okay.
where is this though? You
Um,
have one of these things?
Yes, it's a very long story, and really, the less you know, the better. Just trust me on that one. Um,
All
but
right.
Snap.
you'll have to go with Nedry briefly, and you can just take a look and come right back because I'm sure there's far more to the story, and I love stories. So
Yeah. No dilly dallying. Don't let him drag you and suck you into conversation.
yeah, don't talk to him.
Okay.
You should probably come with us, Carolina, just because I can understand
Okay.
him and translate.
Okay.
He kind of looks over and he says, like I said, I have a little common. Like I'm getting most of what you're saying.
Good. Don't be afraid. It won't hurt.
Well, I didn't think it was gonna, but I guess I have to take your word for it.
You'll present the
we,
bag.
we didn't
Just put
save
your
you to
hand in
kill
here.
you,
Yeah.
so
All right. So yeah, he cooperates, and so Nedry and Carolina and Nordoff go in.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Mhm.
I want to just briefly, just for fun, stay outside the bag for a moment with Zinhorn and Zaleen and Hervik, who are just kind of sitting there, like, because as they go in, the bag just suddenly kind of drops to the floor, and Hervik's just kind of like looking at you, just like, ah.
Yeah.
He just kind of starts kind of like looking around, like, ah, yeah.
I'm just, I'll talk like really loud and be like, do you want a drink? Like, are you thirsty? All right, then.
All right, so then we follow Nedry and Carolina and Nordoth, and he is immediately like, he's looking all around like, whoa, this is just blowing his mind being in there. But then I think the two of you looking immediately over to Tanglefoot find that he was kind of sitting down cross-legged in the cage, but then as he sees you arrive, gets a big grin on his face and stands up. You've made a new friend. And so are you directing Nordoth's attention? Because right now he's just like gotten sucked into a magical bag. It's, occupying his attention.
are you all right?
To who? Tanglefoot?
To Nordoff.
Oh, okay.
I'm ignoring.
Yeah,
the-
no, I mean, he's just, there's a lot to look at. He's in a giant
Right.
magical bag of holding with all sorts of weird stuff around. He doesn't necessarily know where he's
Just
supposed to be.
checking on how he's doing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is amazing. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
first-
it was kind of a first for us too.
I think he heard Tanglefoot's voice, though, and then kind of turns to look over there and is like, yeah. No, I mean, like, he's different color and he's kind of smaller, but yeah, looks like definitely like the same thing. And
That's
Tanglefoot
what I was
goes,
afraid of.
"Oh, really?"
Don't say another word. Nedry, we can go now.
All right.
And I'll send the two of them out. I'm going to linger for a few minutes, though.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, so let's stay with Nedry then for a moment if he doesn't come out right away.
It's been a while. I hope that you're okay.
Oh, well,
You
you
don't-
know, I get by. I'm used to it, you might say.
We're going to be asking you some questions, I think, fairly soon. And I hope you'll be participating.
Well, the last time we spoke, we talked about a deal we might make along those lines, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And it might be time soon.
Well, I'd say I can't wait, except that's pretty much all I can do, isn't it?
It's true. I have a lot of questions for you. If you can give me one thing that makes me believe that you know some of these things. I have so many questions about the Dinetherians, and you're so achingly close to knowing most of the answers. Except I think also you don't know as much as you think you do, which makes me kind of sad because you think you're in a position of knowledge, but you're not, which is never something that should be happy for anyone. But I think the few things that you do know, pieced with the knowledge that we figured out, might actually lead somewhere and might be safe for all of us. I might even be able to remove some of the corruption which has twisted you like this.
He had that same bemused expression throughout all of this until you said that part, and then he kind of gets a little bit of a consternated look of just like, what are you talking about?
Thank you for answering my question. I'll be going now.
All right. And you
Thank
zip
you
out?
for your cooperation. This is very Black Widow of you.
Whatever
Oh,
agent.
very nice.
So I think as you pop back out and join the others, then, yeah, Nordoth is saying, no, yeah, that's absolutely, it's the same kind of creature, but like I said, I mean, the one that came to our place is bigger, like maybe twice again as tall as that one, and like red skin, not gray and mottled like that one.
Well, he's been in there for a while. I mean, although the other one could have just been here for a while and just a little crispy. Either way, it's probably not good. Yeah. So yeah, looking at Zaleen and Zinhorn is like, we got another one for sure.
It's corrupting a dragon. I mean, these things must be corruptors of wherever they go. They're just chaos reapers.
You
I
know
haven't-
my vote when it comes to these things.
Study them, of course.
Yeah,
So-
from the inside.
Well,
Well, let's hear what else they have to say about where they came from.
so I mean, I caught some of that, but I mean, like, corruption sounds like, I mean, it's like I said, Omira, that's the dragon's name. She, again, like, I don't know how many dragons you know, but like, you know how to talk to him, right? Show him the respect. You can do okay. But like I said, ever since this weirdo showed up, she's unreasonable. She's irrational. Like what she says doesn't make any sense. She sleeps too much now, and like I said, she starts picking. Okay, here's the thing. The salamanders, like, we never liked them. They were never on our side, right? Like, they were always, it's kind of contentious. But, like, they were always the ones where, like, they're not good at anything except kissing butt. Like, they're the ones that just fawn all over. Oh my gosh. Oh, Omara. Oh, you're the best. Oh, you're the best. And it's like, it's a little much. Like, whereas what we did is we made treasures for Omira that were like actually quality goods. And she liked that. And we didn't have to like lower ourselves in that way. But now it seems like that's all she wants is just to hear it. And so suddenly she's picking the salamanders to do all the work, which doesn't make any sense. They're no good at it. And all like some of us just felt like we had to leave, but like a couple of us, we were all going to leave, and all of a sudden, as we're heading out, we suddenly find that some of our friends still in there, and the salamanders have now blocked the door and telling us, nope, those ones are staying prisoners, and we can either leave or stay and fight, and we didn't want to fight. And then it turns out that they sent raiding parties after us anyway, and it's really kind of all a nightmare. I don't know what's going on.
So those salamanders that attack that we fought with you came from your home.
Yeah. Like they let us go, but then they came after us twice. Like I said, we had more and they killed them already. Like, this is the second time they've attacked us. I don't, like, why did they let us go if they're just going to follow us and steal what we have anyway? Like I said, it doesn't make any sense. She's not, like, she was always smart. And now her plans don't, like, I don't get it anymore.
Well, it sounds like they aren't her plans. And it sounds like you're being tracked down so that you don't tell anybody what's going on back there.
Unless there's something you're carrying, which is important. May not seem that way to you, but might be to them.
I mean, I don't think we have anything special. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Under the circumstances at which we left, we were very consciously not taking any of the really good stuff because Omira wouldn't like that, if you follow me.
But maybe you did something that you didn't think was as important, like a key.
I mean,
Or-
I guess I don't think so, but I mean, we can show you what we have.
Did you make everything that you brought with you?
Yeah,
You said you're crafters, right?
Yeah, like everything we've got here is stuff that we made specifically for our trip. Like, we didn't take any of the stuff that was Omira's. We worked hard extra to make this stuff for our own trip.
Carolina, can you ask them before they left? Were they having strange dreams?
I will pass on the question. Would you have had any troubling dreams before you left? Scary ones.
They look confused for a second, but then they just say, "Oh, okay. No, you may misunderstand it. We don't sleep like
Oh.
you do." But
I don't either.
That's convenient.
But Omira sleeps all the time now. Like, not all the time, but like way more than she used to.
Ask them if they've had any like weird waking dreams or visions or anything that kind of like caught them off guard, maybe drawn them into daydreams while they were nearby this creepy guy.
I mean, I don't think so, but we were more focused on the dragon, but like a lot of the salamanders started acting pretty weird too. But
Did
like
they sleep?
none of us Azers had any of that, I don't think, or at least no one said anything.
Do the salamanders sleep?
I mean, I don't know, not like you're thinking, I don't think. I mean, they kind of so they've got like their nest in the compound where they like incubate their eggs, and so sometimes they do just kind of like all go in and sort of lay in a pile on each other in there, and they do that for a while. And I don't know if they're actually sleeping like the way you're thinking, but they'll sometimes just go in there and lay down for a while.
Well, it could also be that this just might affect them differently than it does people that sleep. Don't know. If you don't
How
say-
many are we talking? Like how many enemies?
Well, I mean, there was 4 of us that were stuck inside when we left. I have no idea if they're okay or not. Let's see. We killed all the 4 salamanders that attacked us today. I think depending on whether or not like if they have raiding parties that are going out other places, it's hard to know how many would be there at any one time, but I would say there's probably at least going to be 4 or 5 of them there, and they have some of the guard drakes, which I don't know if you know those. They're kind of like small dumb dragons that don't have wings. Like they're kind of like reptiles, but they're more like pack animals. That's what we used them for, but we didn't feel like we could take any of those.
Did
Oh
any
no.
of
So
them
to be
seem
clear,
acting-
pack animals. I don't mean like they work together in a group. I mean like you pack stuff on them.
Oh, okay, good. Are they vicious?
Not usually, but like they can get dangerous if they're commanded to attack. They're usually pretty just docile though.
Did any of them seem to be acting strangely?
Not that I noticed, but like I said, we were very, convinced we weren't going to be able to take any of those. That's why we're pulling the wagon.
They might not be smart enough. That could be good.
So yeah,
How
so
big
like,
is the dragon?
I mean,
Is she old?
so to hear her tell it, yeah, she's ancient, but no, I mean, like, I don't know how to measure it on the scale, but like she's, I don't, like, she like stretches out nose to tail and maybe like 20 feet long. And so, like, I think by that, that's a huge dragon. And if any of you want to try to make a roll to kind of like get a sense of what that would be, like nature maybe, or
Nature.
oh,
20.
yeah, Zaleen, you are pretty confident that a red dragon of that size is probably what would be considered an adult, but not ancient.
Okay.
Okay.
Still pretty dangerous. So
Yeah.
what do you want to happen to your dragon? I mean, do you want us to try to help her and get her back to the way she was?
Well, I mean, like, we hadn't considered previously that was an available option to us. We were kind of just figuring we were lucky to get out with our lives. But I mean, like, if that was an attainable goal, then yeah, that would be great.
Well, I think that would probably be our best bet. I mean, we have the pipe. Maybe we could lure out whatever is inside.
We don't know if it works on physical beings like that.
We don't
although-
even know if that's the case here.
Right.
If there's somebody just whispering in their ear, like
Somebody
could be
like
the source.
Tanglefoot who started this whole mess of
It does
opening
feel
the
Academy all over again.
yeah.
Well,
On the bright side, it's not a lot of people, but on the worse side, it's an old dragon.
Yeah.
if you will, give me just a moment to discuss it with my colleague here. Give us just a minute. And they kind of go off in the corner and they're whispering to each other.
I also don't know how long the corruption's been setting in. We do know
Yeah.
that there is corruption, but we don't know how to get rid of it yet. I've got a few
Yeah.
theories. I'm able to figure
Well,
anything
I mean,
I-
the thing is like red dragons aren't exactly, amicable. From I don't know how I know that. My brain just knows it.
Well, the Azer
So-
said that the red dragons typically aren't very friendly, but this one seemed to be stable, I guess.
reasonable.
reasonable. Like she could be reasoned with if she was getting what she wanted. But now she's kind of crazy, it sounds like. So, I mean, I don't
You think
know.
she's got a nightmare?
I don't know.
I don't know. This feels different.
I'm thinking corruption, and I'm thinking much like what happened at the Reclaimers Academy. Again, one large thing rather than a whole bunch of others that were corrupted. But, and then one of these things, if they are of the same type at the center.
Couldn't it be great if we could capture that one too?
I mean, I'd like to know more about them.
Well, that's why it would be good to capture the other one. Although I wouldn't want them anywhere near each other.
I've been kind of wondering also about the use of the pipe on Tanglefoot, if that might remove the corruption within him, or if it's just more like a curse, like the item was. A regular spell might be able to do something there, or both.
You
Are
know,
we sure he's like we haven't even talked to him. We don't know
I
what his deal is.
hearing this and hearing about a whole other creature that is just like him who has gone into an area and caused all this havoc makes me wonder, you know, is he like that because it's, you know, just who he is? I mean, maybe he's not corrupted. Maybe he's just a jerk who likes to
Well,
cause problems.
we're not even certain if it's the original Tanglefoot or something that replaced him or something that took over him. There's a lot of questions there I'd still like to have some answers to.
So at this point, Nordoth and Hervik come back over and they say, okay, here's the thing. So, like I said, we wouldn't have previously thought it was even something worth talking about to go back at all. But you all did great against those salamanders that attacked us. And so, I don't know, maybe. So, here's what we're thinking. We have a safe in the back room. It's going to be hard to get to. You have to literally go through Omira's chamber to get to it. But that has all of our most valuable stuff in there. Including, as Hervik mentioned, we've got 4 amulets of fire resistance, which are literally for people who are from other planes to be able to travel around places like this more comfortably. And so here's the thing. Option 1, if you can get in and out of that place with that stuff, those amulets are yours. And ideally, we would like the rest of what was in there to try to sell and make new lives for ourselves. Option 2, if you think it's possible to restore Omira to the way she was, that would also be great. But word of warning, I suspect Omira would be grateful, but any rewards you get at that point would be up to her, not us. So I think she'd be grateful, but I can't promise you anything specific. That also sounds harder to me, but I don't know what's involved. So, and as far as the salamanders, I would say kill any of them you want. That's fine with me. If our Azer friends are still in there, if you could help them out, that would be great too.
Did the Whisperer have a name?
I mean, not one that I ever heard.
The Whisperer it is then.
Well, I don't know that I can speak for my friends, but it's more concerning to me what's going on with Omira and the person that has attached themselves to her than really any reward.
At the very least, we have to look into that anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of what we do.
Don't necessarily have to disturb the dragon at the moment. You said that Omira sleeps a lot.
Yeah.
Does she seem to sleep soundly, or does she toss and turn, and is she restless?
So, first of all, I'm just assuming all this is getting translated, so we don't have to mess with it. It's hard to say because there's a pool of lava in her chamber that she sleeps in, so she's submerged when she sleeps.
Hmm.
So, like I said, she's sleeping more than she used to, but I don't know if she's sleeping soundly or not.
So my major concern here is that you said you've been traveling for like a week and a half. That's a long
Well, no,
journey to get back.
I, I may have misspoke. What it was like a couple of weeks ago that this whisperer that you're talking about showed up, and
Okay.
things went bad pretty fast. But we've only been traveling for a couple of days.
Okay.
Well, the biggest problem that we have is that my friends and I are not, as you know, very comfortable in the heat.
Mhm.
And with there being raiding parties after you, I'm concerned that you going back that way, even with us along, I, I don't want anyone to get hurt, is what I'm saying.
We're gonna need their instruction to get through the place.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we could draw a map for you.
so here's a thought. Raiding parties are coming after you, right?
Yeah.
Are they like, do you think if they just found all your stuff abandoned, if they'd take it?
I mean, I think so. Yeah.
Well,
But then, I mean, I don't know what their orders are, but I mean, that's what that's what the first party tried to do is take a bunch of stuff. They took some of it.
well, if we want to go back there anyway, um, what if we just have them take the tower along with all the stuff and just sneak us back in, and they'll never even know?
Well, they can't get in. I mean,
No, the salamanders. If the salamanders come and take all of the stuff, just have the tower conveniently tucked in with all of that.
It'd be difficult to make sure they arrange that for the right time, though. They might have it'd taken a couple of days to catch up to them at this point. Although they were,
well, they already got them before they attacked before because they were other ones that had gotten killed.
Well, you know, I mean, we're pulling wagons, so they can move faster than us when they're not pulling wagons.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll be safe in here if they can't get in, right?
Mhm.
that's
I
if
mean,
they
that
were,
would keep everybody safe.
Mm-hmm.
did it seem like they were after the things? Did they want to take them as well, or just kill you guys?
That's what they said, that they were trying to take all their
so
stuff.
the first raiding party killed half of us and took some of our stuff.
Did you guys kill any of them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, a couple, but you know, like, you know, you saw, like, they're very
Yeah.
tough. I mean,
Yeah.
we're makers, not fighters.
And
Yeah.
this, it seems to me like this might be actually a pretty good solution. You guys get to go back home, but you're safe in the tower. Nobody knows you're here. And we can get into this place without, having to sneak through it all.
Yeah, no, okay. But here's the thing. They're gonna take all that stuff from from their, wagons. And if the dragon gets her hands on the tower, that's something that a dragon would covet. And that could get us into some serious trouble. I mean, I like the idea, but also I really think that it could be super dangerous.
Well,
Well, but when
will
we
just
found
say,
the tower,
I will just say, um, if your plan is to try to help Elmira, I think that's great. I think that it would probably be best for you if she didn't know about the tower.
Yeah.
So,
well,
like, I'm not
you
saying
can
it's a
make the
bad
tower
plan,
super
but
tiny.
But we'll be in it. Like that's the problem.
well,
Like
the,
we're gonna
the
come out
point
of
just
it.
is that, like, however you do that plan, you would want to try to do it without her finding out about the tower.
Yeah.
So
Dragons are
when
powerful.
when I first found the tower, it was so tiny. I needed a magnifying glass and a whole lot of luck. Like it was this itty bitty speck. Or no, that was the little house, but
In
still.
fact, I mean, you actually it was
Yeah.
the pig
It was
barfed it up and it
inside
was
a
full
pig
size.
building.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the other thing was the house.
The house. Yeah.
So you can make this tower however big or small you want, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Then we,
I mean, if we're all like, if I, if you say the tower can do that, I have no reason to disbelieve you. It's amazing. How
It
would you
does,
know when to come out?
We can
Like,
still
we
look
wouldn't-
out the door.
yeah, but we would be this big. We wouldn't know what was going on. Like we'd be like little grains of sand looking out the door. We wouldn't be able to tell what was happening.
There's another larger issue is if we find a raiding party and kill them, then they're dead and we proceed back to the dragon's place. If the raiding party takes us back, we have to fight the raiding party and the guards
Yeah.
once we're there.
Yeah. I mean,
But if we're
I
already
see-
inside, we can sneak around, find this guy that's like whispering bad stuff. I don't know, sneak up behind him, put him in the bag. Problem solved. And we don't have to fight anybody.
that's easy to say.
I think part of that is a natural plan, although the bag isn't a sure thing. It can be overcome by strong people, and this one might be strong enough. We got lucky, I think, with Tanglefoot, but I'm not entirely comfortable with the idea of waiting for them to pick us up, but I do think towers are best way to keep all of us safe, including our friends if they want to go with us, and also a way to pick up the ones that are stuck inside and bring them out safely. But I don't want to wait or risk random chance for them to be found.
Yeah, I think that we would have to have somebody outside carrying the tower, at least one or two people, so that we're in control of where the tower goes. I mean, if we let the tower fall into somebody else's hands, we could end up trapped in there with no food. We would come out and just be captured by a dragon, no less. I mean,
Nordas.
Well, I didn't say it was a perfect plan, but I think
I
it's the
know.
best one we have.
It's a start.
unless we just start traveling towards there and we fight their raiding parties,
Yeah.
and the more of them that come after us that we take out on the way, the less of them that are going to be there.
Right. That's the way I'm looking at it.
So,
Unless it's small.
I mean, I think that like if we made it all the way back there, and then just like when we were just just near the place, we all disappear in, and just the wagon's just there unattended. Like, I mean, if they would find it and they would take it inside, I'm sure.
This reminds me of a very old story about a large wooden rabbit.
Sounds ridiculous. Improbable. This place, Nordoth, is it defended? Does it have walls? Is it a building?
No, not really. I mean, it's at the base of a volcano because Elmira likes that, and that's kind of, I mean, well, not in here, but it's a volcano. So it's got a couple of just, openings, like so like there's the salamanders that like wander around, so like it's guarded, I guess, but it's not got like it's not a fortress, if that's what you mean. Like
How hard
you can
do you
just
think it would
walk
be to
in,
sneak in?
really, as long as you're not, if you're able to walk through the salamanders that are there. There's not a door that'll stop you. There's some doors inside. It's a little bit of a like I don't want to say a maze inside, but like tunnels. They're not in straight lines. That's all I mean.
So my question is, how many salamanders are we looking at when we get there? Because they weren't exactly a piece of cake to fight. I mean, yeah, we came out on top, but
Well, so like I said, like if the raiding party is out, then there would probably be like 4 or 5 of them inside.
so if we encounter a raiding party on our way there and take them out, when we get there would only be like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
That's-
like, I mean, I don't know. Like, seems like you all are pretty good at being sneaky. Like, I mean, if you can, if we can just hide, like, if we can get near there and hide and like wait until we know that the raiding party is left or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll leave all that stuff to you. Like I said, we don't know how to do that stuff.
Right.
We know how to make things.
I mean, even if we had, like, Nedry was invisible and he snuck in with the tower in his pocket, that would be a way to get the other Azer out. And
You can turn invisible.
We can do a lot of things.
mhm. Yeah.
The Hervik is
So-
kind of like nudging him, like, "See, see, aren't you glad I said something now?"
It would be nice to get those others free so they're not in danger.
Yeah,
And less
Yeah.
like
I mean, look, here. So, I mentioned two options before. Third option is like, if you can just get them out, you'll have our things. Like, the thing is, we were already going to go to the city of brass. If you all like with this fancy tower, like, if we can get away safe, we'll just take you there. Like, you can stay in your tower on our wagon. We'll take you all the way.
well, we can't exactly leave the Whisperer where they are.
Okay.
I
Well,
think.
I just saying that,
We
even
know
just
too
getting our
much.
friends out would be a big win for us.
I think we can accomplish that much at the very least.
Mhm.
And learn more.
Yeah. So we need to rest. It's been a very long day for us.
Mhm.
So what is the likelihood that you'll encounter another raiding party?
Oh, well, I mean, this far out when we just killed those and they haven't been, none of them are able to report back. I mean, I think we have a while.
Okay.
Because, like I said, the first raiding party succeeded in getting away with some of our stuff.
Do you
These
think you
ones,
have a certain do you think you have a certain distance you could go and find some place to hide so that you can, you need to rest too. Someplace that might be safe so that we
Yeah,
can
well, yeah, I mean, I
head
guess,
back in that direction.
yeah, like if that's the plan, yeah, I think so. We could take advantage of, like, they're not going to send out, you know, another raiding party this far when the one they think there's one out here already, right? So, like,
Hmm.
yeah, we could get a little closer and find a nice place to hide.
Okay.
Okay. And that'll buy us time to formulate a more solid plan too. Well, as much as we can with these things. We
Yeah.
plan all the time, but it doesn't
It
necessarily
never
work
comes
out.
out the way we want it to.
Although that map you mentioned would be a good idea if we can get
Yeah.
at least
Mm-hmm.
a rough one.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I will
So I will
explain.
say this particular enchantment only lasts for an hour where, they're able to clearly understand me. So when this wears off, like once I have a bit of a rest, be able to do it again, but it'll only last for an hour. But Nedry and I should, between the two of us, be able to understand you fine regardless.
For a while.
I just wanted to make sure that I covered that before, all of a sudden I'm speaking gibberish again.
Mhm.
So
Well, he does speak a little bit of common.
yes, but this might get complex.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So before that does happen, I will explain to them that we're going to make the tower like pocket size,
Mhm.
and that if he were to need us, all he'd have to do is knock on the door
Okay.
and he'll be able to come inside to get us.
He thinks that's very cool. I'm also just gonna say
Wouldn't
generally,
he
like, GM tip for anyone watching or listening to this right now. Don't be like me and make lots of voices in a row that are all gravelly and deep like that, because.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So I think they're on board with this plan. You can, get some rest in the tower, and in the meantime, they will be getting a little closer to base and finding a place that's kind of like place to hide their wagons. Because the problem before was that like they are trying to go to a place and the raiding parties know where they're trying to go, and so it's, they were trying to make distance rather than hide. So
Right.
they think they can find a place that'll be safe.
Never expect them to double back. What a foolish person would do that.
So I think as soon as they were gone out of the tower, I'd kind of nudge Zaleen and giggle a little bit. It's like, our new friends are kind of hot.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
really tired.
Same.
Yeah.
Nedry, next time you try to make me go chase after some jerk in the morning like that while everybody else is asleep, and I'm saying no.
I mean, it was important.
And we didn't succeed.
Yeah,
It was
don't know.
important, but we didn't succeed.
Try.
We tried
It's called
though. Yeah.
research.
And it was kind of fun seeing what that psycho creep looks like for real.
Well, I
I'm pretty
mean,
sure that's what he really looks like.
I don't know. In fact, it probably would be looking like anything they want to, I think, at this point. Still,
Wait, did you say he could? I never even thought about that. So we've got Tanglefoot in the bag. We've got this red guy with the dragon, and we've got the friend of the emperor. What if they're all the same kind of people?
well, I don't think the adversary is because they seem to be distinctly against Denetherian magic, whereas Tanglefoot is definitely for it.
But also, he doesn't seem like that because he's using it
Well,
himself. So I think that he just thinks that everybody else shouldn't use it, only him because he's the only one who knows. I mean, that's what it feels like.
I mean, it feels very much like, oh shoot, now I'm forgetting names. Like the original two we learned of way back when, who were defending Denethor, or rather defending its knowledge.
Isilda
Using
and
magic that were,
Alistair.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My list has
They were
gotten
definitely using
considerably
magic.
longer.
using magic which was not the normal magic, which I would assume had to have been Denetherian based. Now, granted, they seem to not suffer from the same kinds of corruption, or at least didn't outwardly suffer from the same sorts of corruption. So that gives me hope that there's some way to manage it or control it, or at least shed it.
Yeah.
At some. The magical theory is very different from what I'm used to, and I'm having a hard time reconciling that. It needs more research, really.
Yeah.
But I don't think the adversary is of the same stripe, even of them. They seem not quite to know all the things. So maybe they came from later, or they discovered the same things that we did in a way, but from a different angle and went a different direction. They definitely don't want to know as much, or rather don't want others to know as much, which is never a really good path. Knowledge is power, and knowledge is control. Knowledge is for the better.
Yeah.
Not always.
Yeah.
Well, just me.
I know. I'm so tired, Nedry, that your talking is making me even more tired.
I've got to do a
No
lot.
offense.
Well, I will go ahead and let you know that you can certainly get up to whatever business you would like to, but you will be able to get an uninterrupted long rest at this time.
Yay.
Sweet.
And as has become tradition and is not atypical, Nedry falls asleep on his book writing, working on magical theory.
So, do you happen to look at any of the books that you took from the planar library at the observatory? Because you grabbed a few of those books, if you recall. You told me you wanted books on history, magic creation, on shadows, and on legends. You have one of each.
He would definitely be perusing those as light sleeping material or light relaxing material.
Sure. So I think the one that it seems to be about magic creation, you are immediately dismayed to realize that it's in the same cipher that other Denetherian stuff has been in, but you realize that ever since Sequential cracked the cipher, he gave you some of the idea, the tips on how it works, and you think that with a little bit of mental elbow grease, you could crack it yourself and read it. And more to the point, as you sort of flip through it, that book in particular has what looks like spells in it, but ciphered currently.
Hmm.
In
As if I didn't miss sequential already.
I'll try to put some effort into that, but he's probably going to
Okay.
fall asleep.
All right.
About
Well,
halfway
you can make an investigation check if you would put a couple of hours into it at least.
Oh yeah. 15.
15. I think you think that another session would get you there, but not quite yet. You're starting to figure it out, but not. You don't have enough of it to actually like encode spells or anything yet.
The
But
grammar's
enough
so
that
weird.
you believe you're
It's
on the
a
right track.
past future tense.
Hmm?
The grammar's so weird. Who has a past future tense?
All right.
These are spells with which I will have known.
Anyone else have anything else that they get up to before getting your long rest?
After I finish my meditation,
Mhm.
I'm gonna snoop around and see if I can find the diamond that Rupino is in.
Okay.
I have that on my person.
It actually just occurs to me that where are everyone? Where are you trying to get your long rest? Each of you.
In the tower.
Well, yeah, but where in the tower?
There's a bed. I already claimed it.
Yeah, Carolina and I always sleep in the bed.
Okay. I'm just that's why I'm just let's revisit. I think
There's a-
Nedry had previously slept at the table on the ground floor.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I took the second floor with Buster.
Okay. Well, so the second floor is the like kitchen and laboratory, kitchen and
It
like
wasn't that.
chemistry lab, but then there's the fourth floor has the like it's the big open space where it was a tinkering workshop, but all the furniture is smashed.
Buster made a nest in the library room, like in the little sitting
Yep.
room down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bringing Nedry to tears.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I moved all those books so that he can't eat anymore.
It's still hard to read the ones that are in shreds.
Yeah, but so if Zinhorn has the diamond on his person, you maybe know that. Are you trying to see if you can sneak in there and?
Yeah,
Okay,
I just want to look at it.
sure. So I guess so. Zinhorn, are you on the first floor as well, or are you up on the fourth floor maybe? Because you can have
Was there a couch or something?
no.
No.
Wasn't
Yeah,
there
no, go-
one in the sitting room?
Well, here let me look at that map. I haven't looked. Trying to remember where we have that. Did I not? I'm trying to I'm like I know we had this. I had this as a map, but I'm not seeing it on my my Roll20 anymore. I hope I didn't delete it. Oh no, there it is. Okay. Um. There we go. There are a couple of like easy chairs, and a dining room table on the first floor.
Yeah.
If you all want to be in Roll20, I'll put you on that map.
In there.
Yeah, in there.
Mhm.
So yeah, he'd probably be on the first floor using an easy chair.
All right, Carolina up on
I mean,
in
we
the
we
bed.
probably still have our, basic bedding in our traveler pack type
Mhm.
things too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to establish where this is happening. You know. Oh, Zaylene, are you not on this map for some reason? Let me put you there.
Mm-mm.
Bloop. There you are.
So what do you want me to roll, like stealth?
Yeah. I guess roll it with advantage against Zinhorn's passive perception. And
Oh my
Nedry's for
God.
for that. So okay. Yeah. I think
I
that
tripped over Buster.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. So I think that unfortunately you were attempting to creep in there, but yeah, you made some noise, and I think probably both Nedry and Zinhorn and maybe Buster kind of look up like, huh, what? Hmm?
Hey guys, sorry.
Oh, hey, Zayleen.
Hey, do you have that diamond?
Oh, yeah, I got
Can
it.
I see it?
Why do you want it?
I just want to look at it. I just want to like I didn't really get to look at it after we got it. I'm not gonna do anything, I promise.
Well, after what just happened with sequential,
What do you mean?
I, what do you mean? What do I mean? Like
Oh
he
no,
asked to
no, I'm
see
not
something
like
and it vanished.
no, I'm not possessed by the evil
Well,
adversary.
you would say that if you were possessed.
I know, but I'm really not. I'm really
Nedry,
not.
how are you feeling about this?
I'm
Well,
just
I could
finding
check.
it hilarious because Evan specifically came up with the idea that you should all set code words, and then you just didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if Evan was here, he would know.
I can try to read her mind, but I'm a little tired right now.
If I hold it and you look at it, does that?
I mean, your arm's gonna get really tired just holding it there. If you can sleep with your arm out, that's fine with
Well,
me.
how long do you want to look at it?
I just want to look at it. I just want to look at it. I didn't even get to really see it.
You guys
Here.
can like.
I will just sit on. I'll sit on the arm of the chair.
Okay.
Sit on and just stare at it,
Okay.
and I will just sit there, staring at it. I'm studying it.
I mean, it's a gorgeous diamond for sure. It's huge from normal gemstone perspective, and it's beautiful.
Huh. Can you see anything in like the facets of it at all? Anything interesting or unique?
I think it's not anything that you can sort of make happen on purpose, but it just you sort of feel like as you look around and you move it through the little facets, you occasionally feel like you see just the hint of something in the center, but then you can't quite make it stay. Like you only ever get a flash of it when it's moving.
Like you try to focus on it and then it disappears.
Yeah.
Like you can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I imagine Zinhorn falls asleep like that.
No, it's at some point Zinhorn's going to be like, you can look at it again tomorrow.
But
Like
I'm not going to do anything. I promise. If I do, you can kill me.
I'm not going to kill you.
Like you can
Like wait
outright
until
kill me.
morning.
I'm not sequential. I have like 4 hours to waste while you guys are all sleeping. And this is
From the
very
ceiling, you
relaxing
hear
for me.
this. Shut up!
I think Buster from his little nest in the corner gives kind of an irritated.
Learn the silence spell.
All right, dude, you can like we'll talk about it in the morning, all right? Because yeah, I just put it away and go to sleep.
I'm just going to sit there on the edge of his chair,
Okay.
waiting until morning.
So you did get your trance hours though for your own
Yeah,
long rest.
I did that first.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, all of you are able to complete your long rest.
Yay, my exhaustion goes away.
I think one of the first things I would do in the morning is pop out of the tower, cast comprehend languages.
Mhm.
Well, probably duck out the door first just to see maybe
Yeah. So
look out the door first.
Yeah. So what you see is that the landscape is like similar in terms of the character of it, but it is a different location. Um, the I think if the tower is currently small, which it would be, um, they don't. You see some of the Azers kind of sitting around around their wagons and kind of talking to each other, but they don't notice you just looking around.
All right. Then yeah, I will cast comprehend languages and go out of the tower.
Okay. As you
Morning.
as you appear, they look up and they stand up and say, good morning. I guess it's actually like afternoon here, but I hope you were rested. We made a map for you.
Wonderful. I'm going to keep my reply short because I'm not burning my universal speech yet.
Hmm.
So hold out my hand for it.
Yeah. What they give you is like it's like stretched kind of dry leather. It's you get the sense that it wouldn't hold up to a lot of like it wouldn't last very long, but you can hold it and you can look at it. And what I'm gonna do, because I didn't like draw a map version of this, is I'm actually just gonna put you on the map location, but all of the creatures are on the GM layer. So you can essentially like you can all get a sense of the layout of the place, and they can answer questions about the things that are in there, but they won't know now where anyone would be located inside. So, are you all able to see it now? And I'll actually put it on the yeah. So, as you can see, you would be crossing a river of lava on a stone bridge. From inside there, there's some cave entrances and a stairs that go up to a balcony. Uh, this area right there is like their dining lounge area. This is the place where the salamanders do their eggs and like sleep in there. There's the guard drake pen, and then there's various work and storage areas kind of all around there. And then this big area right here is of course Onara's chamber. Um, these things up here are literally just fountains for molten gold. Um, and then this is where the safe is, right here in the upper left corner.
The safe would be locked, right?
Uh, yes. Well, they're able to to come in and we'll just dispense with the translation for the moment. But yeah, they it's a combination they can give you.
Salamanders, what abilities do they have uh, outside of fighting? Because those we saw. Like mm, the special things that they can do.
Well, so not a lot. I mean, I don't mean to like they're not like animals. They're not monsters. They are intelligent, but mostly fighting is kind of their thing. And like I said, like their job was always like protection for the location and guards and that sort of thing. So that the place would be protected when Onaira would go out hunting or whatever. And so like that was always their job. But like what they are good at is like flattery. So they don't really
I'm
like
also good at that.
now, and I mean, I guess they can kind of do some of the other stuff, like working the machines and everything, but like they couldn't fix it if it broke, for example.
Do they
That's
see
probably why
in
they
the
felt
dark?
like they needed to keep a few of them there.
Mm.
Keep a few of
Can
us
can
there.
they
I mean,
can they see in the dark?
give me a moment, and I will tell you. Um, uh, Well, like for one, it's not really dark anywhere in there because it's just like there's either lava glowing or there's fire of some kind everywhere in there. So like there's nowhere in there that's totally dark.
Mm. Let's
They,
see.
yeah, I mean like as far as I know, they don't have like any special ability to see in the dark.
Okay.
Does the Whisperer stay anywhere in particular when they're not with the dragon?
I mean, ever since they arrived, I've never seen them not with the dragon.
No.
In the lava?
I mean, like not they don't go in the lava. I don't think they could. Not like Onira can. I mean, like to be clear, like I mean, I'm sure you all know this, but like you should not go in the lava. Like
Oh no,
I
no.
mean, we we could like we could handle it for a little bit, but it's still not comfortable. I think it would just burn you all right up.
I'm more trying to gauge abilities of opposing forces.
Hmm.
Um,
But yeah, I don't think that the whisper I kind of like that actually. It's just descriptive. I don't think they could go in the like they didn't seem super uncomfortable just like being around, but I don't think they could go in the lava.
magical abilities?
I mean,
Any
I
those?
didn't see any. Like I said, I mean, I like they got great big claws. They're big. Like like I said, like bigger than the one you've got. I didn't see him do any magic, but I don't know.
Would your people be gathered anywhere in particular, or are they just working wherever?
I mean, my guess is that they would be working because like they felt like they probably needed to keep some of us to do the parts that the salamanders don't know how to do. So they would be probably working real hard doing all the stuff that we used to all work on.
So it doesn't sound like the salamanders are very smart.
I wouldn't say so. Yeah. I mean, like I said, you can't assume they're like animals. Like they can
Mm-mm.
communicate, they can do tactics and stuff like that. But like you know, I don't see them
I'm
reading books
just
very often. If that's what you mean.
I feel like the Whisperer has gone out of their way to remove anyone they think might be a threat to their intelligence.
Maybe, yeah.
Because you can talk people into a lot if they're not very smart. So maybe the salamanders are just easier to convince of stuff. Then you really only have to worry about the dragon.
See, the thing is, like the salamanders, like I'm not sure you even really have to convince them. I mean, they just say whatever they think the dragon wants to hear at all times anyway.
Kobolds are a little like that.
Yeah,
Maybe they're
yeah.
cousins.
I've met some kobolds. That is what they're like, in my experience. I'm
Although
sure there's some.
kobolds typically aren't on fire.
Hmm.
Kobolds typically aren't on fire.
Also true of kobolds in my experience.
And there are a few that are quite handy.
Oh, sure. Like, I mean, there's.
Mhm.
I bet that there are salamander scholars, but there weren't any living at our compound.
Hmm.
I mean, the truth is, both Azers and salamanders actually both used to be enslaved to the Ifriti, which is why we weren't really like thrilled to be going back to the city of brass. But you know, like some of us, we escaped, found our own way, and that's kind of like what we're doing here.
Did they have a lot of slaves?
Ifriti, well, how much is a lot for you?
I mean, did like they all
More
tend to
than
keep
one?
slaves?
I don't know. Like all is a big generalization. I will say there are lots of Ifriti who have slaves at the city of brass.
Mm,
I'm not sure it's useful to estimate a percentage.
right.
Do you think Onira would know of a way to get us back to the material plane? If she were feeling in a rewarding mood.
I mean, maybe. I'm not sure that's really her area of interest or expertise per se, but she is very smart and she knows lots of stuff. She's just maybe never talked about it with us. I'll tell you what she could absolutely do though, if she was agreeable, is she could just fly her little tower all the way to the city in a couple of hours.
That would be useful.
Yeah, but then she would know about the tower,
It's true.
which we don't want.
Well, you would certainly need to persuade her why she shouldn't take it from you.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there could be a platform instead of the tower.
Maybe we should cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she
So-
might know. I don't know. She just never talked to us about it. But it's, I have to be honest, with
Seems
you.
like
The
pretty
material
specific
plane doesn't
knowledge.
come up very often. Yeah.
Right.
So are we getting on the road?
I mean,
There
I guess
been
if
any
you're all
sign
ready,
of salamanders?
no, not we over. Not while you were resting.
All right.
So what we're looking at is really the interior of the mountain, right? This is all caves and stuff.
Yeah. So like if you're down at the bottom of the map, like there's this river of lava that you cross with the like a bridge where your kind of tokens are. Is
Mhm.
just the end of the bridge. And so that's the part that's kind of outside, and then as you see like the gaps, that's where it's going into the mountain. So like everything above, about like this level, everything north of that level is like got a ceiling.
So they don't typically post guards, but we should be careful. We could sneak in, which would be the safest way to go.
Yeah, I'm all for sneaking. I think we want to go up the left side of the map. It seems to be the most direct route to the chest.
Although, if the other Azer, they could be anywhere.
Yeah, but I think we're going to be dealing with a lot of heat. And if we can get the medallions first, then we can move around much more freely.
I think there's someone we should talk to first before heading into this mountain. He's not the most helpful, but maybe he'll tell us something.
When has he ever told us anything?
He did say he just wanted the book, right?
No, he wanted us to release what was in the book, and we did it.
Well, no, he said put the book in his hand. Those were his exact words. It's more information and it's right here at our. We're going to have to do it sooner or later. I
Mhm.
don't like him either.
Let's go.
Well, do it. Go do it.
You're going into the back.
Should somebody stay out in case they
I'll stay out so I don't kill him.
yeah, in case they need something? Like, don't want them getting ambushed and ruining the whole plan before we've even, attempted to start it.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go in. I do want to observe what he might have to say. I'm still trying to figure him out, but I can learn something.
What did we do with that dead body? Did we put it in the bag too, or
I've
What did we-
been keeping it fresh enough that I could raise it.
Lord.
So
But,
I
yeah,
think
but
on
like,
the
do we just want a dead body hanging around the tower? Like, we could, we have bags. We can put it in. It's just something. He's dead. He's not gonna care.
so I'm
Do
taking
we
all
need
of
to like
the
gentle repose him or anything?
Yeah, I've been doing that.
well.
It,
So
it lasts for 10 days, right?
Yeah,
It
the
lasts
one
for
that
10
he-
days, and I've been keeping it as one of my spells as
Well,
part of the.
which I mean what are you talking about with the gentle repose? Because the body that was in the cage here in the bag of
No,
holding
not
was
that
like,
one. That one's long gone.
Yeah, that
I was
one's
good.
back at the
This
castle.
is the paladin,
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Trandonil.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay.
But does gentle repose keep him from rotting? Because
Yes.
ew.
It does.
Okay,
Oh,
well, that's reassuring. So at least he doesn't smell like corpse.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I think
taking
the
all
other one
the stuff out of the other cages because now that you've attuned to the bag, all of that stuff's under your control now. So just
Just on the my brain just fell out.
Sounds painful.
It is. So I don't have to use a spell slot to cast gentle repose, just so you know. Like it's always prepared for me.
Well, you might still have to do a spell.
Mhm.
Spell.
Oh yeah, I do. That one it does do a spell slot.
Yeah.
There are some that you don't need a spell slot like once per day, but that's not one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
all right. So you go into the bag.
Yep.
Hmm.
And he still has that translator, right? That was how we were understanding
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The microphone translator thing that
Mm-hmm.
Sorshana built.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you go back in, and once again he was kind of sitting down, but he just looks up at you with a smile.
The book.
Yeah. The book. What about it? Did you find it? I have
Oh
a
god,
feeling
ages
you did.
ago.
Mm?
We found it ages ago.
He
Ages.
reaches his clawed hand out through the bars and does the like.
What do you want with it?
Well, that's one of the questions that I might answer once you've put it in my hands, as per our agreement.
Just give it to him.
Okay. So I will take it out and give it to him.
Okay. He takes it. He's got that big grin, and he kind of just uses his hands to open it up, and closes it, and then just like tosses it aside, like not even handing it back to you, just like eh. And he's like, "All right then."
We already did that, right?
Oh sure,
Yeah.
no, that's what I was checking. I'm very glad to see that you did.
Mm-hmm. Figured.
Mhm.
Okay, answers. You promised.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Look at Nedry. Unleash the beasts.
Oh, I thought you had a particular question. I was going to hold back on mine.
What did opening that book do?
It's a
Well,
good start.
it sent a sort of signal, you might say.
We figured out that much.
Well, aren't you the smarties?
Who did it send it to? Or what?
Well, you might say that there are others like me out there in the planar universe, waiting for word that it's okay to proceed with the plan.
Okay, what plan?
The plan to make the world, the planes, a little more to our liking. That is to say, I mean, I don't want to oversimplify, but I think you're not really asking me for like a detailed step by step process, are you?
Well, I mean, that would help us, put a stop to whatever you're doing. So you probably don't want to do that anyway.
I think what you really want is the high level summary, which is to say, we are planning to infiltrate structures of power, do what we can to find ourselves in positions of influence, and then persuade those structures of power to make the world a little more chaotic, a little more exciting, a little more dangerous. For people like you, anyway.
Why?
Why not? It's the
Yeah,
way
that
we
Like,
like it.
seems
I like chaos just as much as the next person.
Do you, though?
Kind of.
Well, then you're on my side. Welcome to the party.
But see, the thing is, you can't have chaos without also having order. Like they cancel each other out. So you have to have both.
Sure. And you know what has had control of the material plane and lots of the other planes for a while now?
Oh, clearly you haven't lived here very long.
Oh, well, see, here's the thing. If you think that your experience of the material plane is not highly weighted towards order, then allow me to and my fellows to demonstrate what it looks like when it's a little more actually balanced.
Okay.
Where do you come from?
That's a complicated question. You might say that I come from more than one place.
How? How is that possible?
Well, okay. So, like, the problem here is just I'm absolutely willing to answer your question, but some of it I'm afraid is going to go over your head. Like, if I just explained it well, I wouldn't have to explain it to another person like me because they'd know. But the way I would say it to them, you're not going to follow. So, what I would say is there's a part of me that came from another plane, one that doesn't get talked about so much anymore. And another part of me came from, well, not this plane gesturing around like at the back, but material plane like that one. So I'm a little mix of everything.
So you are a compound being, taken over another being.
It's one way to look at it, yeah.
Another way you could look at it is parasite.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or living
Yeah, see,
curse.
That word
that's
doesn't bother
simple.
me.
You could have just said that. And I mean, that's not complicated at all.
Well, but like I'm just saying, if that word helps you understand, then fine. It's not the word I chose because I don't think it's the best. But if it gets you there, then whatever.
Actually, I do have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the Reclaimer's mansion,
Yeah.
one of the ghosts looked at me and said, I know what you are.
Mm-hmm.
But how could they?
Well, you see, y'all know about magnets,
Yeah.
and you know how, like, every magnet's got two ends, right? And like if you have two magnets, and you push, and on one end they'll stick to each other, but then you turn one around and they push each other apart, right? You and that ghost are magnets.
I don't know if I understand.
What I mean is, there's a little bit the same in both of you. They could feel that because they knew what to look for.
I'm trying to remember which ghost that was.
It's the same thing I could feel. I mean, you and me, we're not the same. We're the ends of the magnets that push each other apart. That's why you don't like me.
But where does that even come from?
Where does anything come from?
Where did I come from? You said you knew.
You are a special case because I have to confess, I have never seen anything like you before. I just knew what happened before you were and what happened after you were, and here you are. So, I've never seen a spirit get channeled through a human before, because usually, well, see, there's beings like me that can get channeled through mortals and do all sorts of great stuff. But I've never seen it happen with a spirit of the material plane before. I think some of the other planes must have gotten involved to help.
Well, you're saying I'm a spirit?
I'm saying you are the result of a spirit and a mortal doing something nobody thought was possible. And then whatever that was at the end, spirit was gone, mortal was gone, and there you were.
Huh.
It's pretty cool. I wonder who paid the price for it.
No one.
Well, we'll see about that.
I know where I came from.
Well, then why are you asking me, huh?
I just wanted to see what you would say.
Okay, fair enough.
If
What is
If
your
we're-
relationship with Dinethir?
That is a place that I haven't been to before, but I hear it's great. I would like to make it available for travel again.
But you were
that's
researching.
that's what they're doing.
Yeah. So this is where the compound, the parasite terminology all gets a little muddy, but yeah, the mortal that I kind of filtered through to become as I am now, he was looking for information on Dinethere too. He also wanted to travel there, but see, the thing is, he wanted to travel there because he didn't know what was there. I want to travel there because I do.
What's there?
More like me.
Great. So, if you're chaos and you say I'm the opposite,
Well, now, see, this is where some of the, I'm trying to explain it to, look, I'm trying to work with you here, right? Like, I'm trying to answer your questions in ways that you'll understand. And some of the answers, when I try to explain it in ways that you'll understand, make it a little oversimplified. So, you're not like me, but you're like the other end of the magnet. So, like, you're almost like the opposite.
but you can change your shape.
Well, yeah.
that mean you can just
I mean,
become
usually I
anybody that?
can. I'm not a fan of this cage.
Does that mean that you can take the image on of anybody that you've sucked the light out of?
Oh, more than that. Let me out of the cage and I'll show you.
Not going to happen.
No.
Well, yeah. All right. I mean, if you want a
It-
demonstration, that's what it takes.
It's going to really suck for you when all this cool, chaotic stuff happens because you're not going to get to see it.
Well, you know what makes that waiting a whole lot better is knowing that signal got out.
Well, maybe, but now we know what it's doing. And we're actually on our way to go and take care of one of you right now. Yeah,
That's exciting.
we'll bring you his head
We don't assume gender.
or her, whatever, there. I assumed it was a he because they said creepy dude. But
Well, it's kind of not something we worry about really.
Why not? Can you not die? Like, Like-
No, I mean like the gender stuff, like that.
Mm-mm.
A lot of you.
oh no, I
creatures
get that part.
Yeah. All right. So that's what I was talking about.
I thought the death was the concerning part for you there.
Not really. I mean, like you don't like you're not looking to make it happen, but it does.
So do you all like get along? Are you friends? Like how's that relationship?
Well, I think maybe one way to think about it is, y'all are from Tashmian Empire, right?
not really.
Well, okay, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Do all citizens of the Tashmian Empire get along? Do they all like each other?
No, I wouldn't say that.
But they're technically all part of like a thing.
Right.
And then so the people in charge of the empire make decisions for the empire. And that's the empire's what the empire does. Yeah? Doesn't require that all the individuals like each other.
So you wouldn't be sad if one of these guys stopped existing?
I mean, probably.
You don't seem like you have a lot of sentimentality, is what I'm saying here.
No, not really. I mean,
How do you?
how about this? You bring me someone a head like mine, I'll be impressed. How about that?
How do you feel about the color red?
Oh, you found a red one. Okay, well, how about this? I'm better than them.
Good to know.
And you're in a cage.
I also tricked you into sending out the signal for me.
You didn't trick us.
Oh, didn't I?
No.
All right.
We knew you were gonna want to open the book regardless. So
Yeah.
So you just
there
went
was-
ahead and did it for me. Thanks.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's not that we didn't learn anything in the process. Though.
Oh no, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you did. You learned that trying to outsmart me doesn't work out very well for you.
Mm,
Well, that's
no.
not what we learned, but okay. If that's how you need to comfort yourself, that's fine.
Yeah,
We figured that was a trick anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't really
Yeah.
need comforting.
Good. Good. Nedry, do you have anything else? Because
you've been awfully quiet. It's not
yeah,
like
like
you.
way quiet. This is so un-Nedry.
I've been thinking, putting a lot of pieces together. You're a nightmare, only smaller, or smarter, I should say. Smaller, maybe as well. You infect from host to host, but have more control over the matter. But that also means that you can be removed. It may or may not be good enough for the person you've infested, but they'd be better off either way.
I have to confess, I'm a little bit curious about some of that. Like you mentioned some of that before. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but you talk about corruption. Okay, sure, I'm not offended. I get it, but I don't know what you're talking about removing it. What like it can't be removed. You can maybe move it, but like
Ooh,
remove makes it sound like, yep, here, and I'll put a little band-aid on you. Afterwards, you're all better.
kind of.
I
Well,
have
I
to work.
mean, they make it makes a nice necklace.
Yeah.
I have to work out some of the experience and some of the details, but I do believe the scales can be balanced, so to speak.
All right, well, I'll believe it if I see it. How about that?
It's probably true,
Try it on me.
although
Come
you
on.
wrong.
Yeah, we got stuff to do.
Okay.
And we like you in there. Like it makes us happy knowing that you're in here.
Well, all I wanted was to make you happy.
I'm glad. That makes me happy knowing that you're happy.
Now we're all happy.
Okay, Nedry, can we go?
I will have more questions later, but thank you for the information.
Sure. You're very welcome.
Until
Good
then,
luck with the red one.
enjoy your order down here, fixed in place.
Yeah.
And I'll send everyone up, including myself.
Okay.
What a blowhard.
He's not wrong. Maybe a little bit arrogant about it.
Did you get
I
it to
wonder-
speak?
Oh yeah.
Really?
All kinds of talking.
Really?
All he wanted was the book to get open.
Oh, we knew that.
Mhm.
Well, as soon as he found out that we already opened the book, he just opened up like a big fat river and started gushing everywhere.
I
So,
did not
I-
suspect that.
The one thing I think I took away, well, two things, but we know they're after bringing down that seal in place of Redinethir. That's the goal.
Mhm.
But the second thing I don't think he intended, and it was kind of a comfort. He said I'm like him, only the opposite. And that actually makes me feel a lot more at ease than I was.
I'm not entirely sure if I understood what that meant, other
I-
than, of course, the sentimentality of it, but I'm assuming he meant more in physicality than.
Mm, it's hard to explain, but he is very chaotic, but for the sake of destruction. Chaos is fine, but if you're just destroying everything, what is the point? So I don't
Not
know.
really about order and chaos for me, so much as it is about knowledge and ignorance. Ignorance never wins. It's never that.
Yeah.
They win, but it's not actually the point of the universe. The universe is to be understood, all of it.
Can I tell you guys something comforting?
Yeah.
The whole reason I am here is to stop creatures like him. That is my purpose. I know that.
Was that something you just realized, or
No, a little while ago, when I was with my mistress, when I kind of disappeared for a little while,
For days.
was it days? It only seemed like a couple minutes to me. She kind of told me some things that I have purpose, and that she sort of made me. And now I feel like I know exactly what for. And that is comforting to me. Because for a very long time, I didn't understand why I exist. But now, like hearing all of that from him, everything she said to me made so much sense.
Well, but what does that mean? Like, if we stop this, what does that mean for you?
I don't know. I will probably return to her side where I belong. She didn't say.
Do you have to?
I don't know.
I mean, in theory, you could split back into the original two beings that formed you. That would be weird, but
It wouldn't
interesting.
be me. I don't. I think that's why I don't remember, because I'm neither of those two beings. I'm something totally different.
I suppose none of us are our parents.
Yeah.
You just have
In
a
my
slight.
case, that's exceptionally true. I mean, and it's also completely untrue at the same time because I could technically be my parents if I wanted to, which I don't because I don't copy people.
You weren't actually your parents, though, right? Just to be clear, they were separate people at one point, or are you also made
They're
up of parents
still
that way?
separate people now, as far as I know.
Just checking.
I'm sorry
I've
I'm
come.
not really people, but I kind of am.
You're still people to me.
You're people to us.
Well, you're at the very least a very evolved spirit, and those are considered generally to be people.
I feel like that, like when we were, Sunya, like said things to me that make sense too. I mean, she recognized something in me that felt familiar to her.
For all we know, someone was used in the manufacturing of Sunya. I mean,
Possible.
merged with the building.
What? I
Maybe
feel
actually.
like that might be a little different. I think it's like how, that the spirits form like in the lakes and things. Like people just believe in a thing enough and it becomes a spirit. And I think this is a little different. It's like they took a spirit that was already formed and they took a person that was already alive and mooshed them together. It's like
Well,
if you have red clay and blue clay and you mix them together, now you have purple clay. It is neither, but it is both.
well, according to the
Yeah.
spirit theory I've been working on and the belief part of it, the energy that comes potentially even from mundane belief, they can form pretty powerful spirits. But the interesting thing about you, Zaleen, it seems as though you have a goddess that believes in you, which would be a little bit more of a power boost, which explains why you're more exceptional than most spirits.
She doesn't really just believe in me. I think that she formed me. You know, I don't know. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm like there's a part of her in me almost. And
Three
I don't
parents,
know,
a little awkward.
maybe even just one
Well,
parent.
Well, to be
four?
sure, one notable difference from most spirits is that although many spirits can travel some ways away from whatever their sort of base component is, like whatever they are the spirit of, they are still really ultimately tied to it, and it's sort of like there's a tension anytime they leave to go anywhere else. So traveling all over the place, even going to other planes, is usually something other spirits can't, normal spirits can't do.
But Sunya can.
And she,
Oh,
Sunya
bound
is
in the
like a
castle.
spirit in a castle, and the castle can go places.
Yeah.
So you are like a spirit in a body that can go places.
You're a free roaming
maybe,
apparition, full torso apparition sort of thing.
I mean, maybe, maybe the real Zaleen that lived in this body before. I mean, maybe she made a pact with the mistress for some kind of good cause. Like maybe because she saw all the things that were happening, she kind of gave herself over to that to make a
Well,
difference.
she, as far as I can tell, was abused by Tanglefoot, um, in the Reclaimers Academy and dismissed and was just really treated horribly.
Well, then, I mean, that makes sense that she would want to stop his people from doing and what they want to do.
So I
Yeah.
wonder when all of this started, because I don't have the impression that the Reclaimers Academy was always that way.
Mhm.
So
Well, Tanglefoot had
whatever,
been for a long time. He probably wasn't fully corrupted for a long time.
well, but Tanglefoot wasn't always there either.
Tanglefoot found something, and I believe that's where the corruption began. It
Well, I
was
think
found-
that maybe it was the person that he, I don't know, embedded himself in, found something that tied him, and so that he became a host.
Kind of
And-
like how the circlet got
Yeah.
to you.
You mean
Yeah,
like
and like, look,
Parasite?
yeah, that's exactly like he says that's not the description he would use, but that's exactly what it's like.
Well, while the comparison is uncomfortable, it's one of the reasons that I believe it can be potentially reversed. Maybe not in the case of Tanglefoot, and maybe not in the case of the Whisperer either, but I think it can be reversed in some other cases. The adversary also was suffering from a considerable amount of corruption, which might be a manifestation or a stable state between corruption, between exposure and fully being taken over. They may have also been taken over and not realized it, but I'm not entirely certain of that. They seem to be somewhat antithetical to all of the Denetherian elements, which isn't quite right.
And,
Also, there's
and
a bit of a
whacked out. I mean, like not sane.
Well, yeah, that would be a natural side effect. But there's also another factor in all of this. The way that my mind is conceiving of this at the moment is imagine a bubble. In the inside of the bubble is Denethir. It's a place of contained power. On the outside is the rest of the world, separated away by a thin barrier, a barrier which sometimes shifts and changes and is affected by all kinds of factors. The barrier is closer to the role that I believe Elistair and Zeld held. They were on the barrier trying to maintain it. These creatures are on the outside trying to pierce it, and other folks are just trying to understand it. The telescope that we had some exposure to, the one that was built by
Oh man, brain.
Rupino.
No. Well, yes, I guess Rupino
Is
built it. No,
Rupino and the other one.
the one that Rupino built is a way
The
to sort of
seer.
through the
Ustok. Ustok, is that right?
Yeah.
is a way to look through the bubble without piercing it. Now, there's a lot of theory, difficult to prove at this point without any additional exposure and tests. But because you were able to remove the circlet from me, and it is potentially a connection to one of these creatures, it does argue that it's not necessarily an irreversible condition.
Maybe
I want-
after so long it is.
True.
I want to know who put Rupino in that gem and why. Because Trendinil said not to let him out under any circumstances, but we know that Trendinil was corrupted.
Well, I think that Rupino had believed that the only solution to the problem was to completely collapse the bubble, to destroy Denethir forever. Hence the dual nature of the telescope. It was also a weapon that could do, well, a tremendous amount of damage. But in destroying that bubble would also destroy probably the prime material plane, or at least large chunks of it, possibly other planes. So
So
I could see a
I have
reasonable
a
argument for putting him in a gem instead of letting him do that.
I have a slight problem with the whole bubble analogy. Do you remember the night we met and we went into the garbage chute and then we did the thing and popped the bubble and everything went out of it?
Mhm.
Are we at all concerned that that might happen? Like
If you pop the bubble,
if that telescope were to get fired rather than collapsing in on itself, it would kind of turn inside out.
Well, an interesting thing about a bubble is you can pierce it and it will violently explode. You can also gradually release the thing contained within and achieve an equilibrium in the rest of the, I guess, air in this particular analogy, which might be another solution. Rather than trying to destroy Denethor, which would likely end up destroying the outside as well, or piercing it violently as the creatures like Tanglefoot would have us happen, it might be possible to reach a sort of equilibrium, an order with that chaos.
Along these lines, I'll allow you all to make Arcana checks if you like.
I
It's a
will
high
give
DC, but you can go
somebody.
for it.
16.
I rolled a natural 1, so that's a 4.
I rolled a 16.
Okay.
Terrible.
I am made dumber in the attempt.
I rolled a 16.
Wow,
Okay,
3
Three
16s.
16s. That's fun.
Carolina's like,
so
what?
I think that at a high level, it sounds like the sort of rapid expulsion like you saw with the garbage chute, so to speak. Sounds like maybe that might be what entities like Tanglefoot have in mind. And what the telescope / super weapon was designed to do is to collapse it without that happening at the cost of the destruction of large amounts of the material plane.
There has to be another way, like an in between those two.
As I suggested, one theory that suggests itself is some sort of equilibrium or balance, a slow release, a careful release of the power. It's an imperfect analogy, however, and I'm going to have to study a lot more to really know if the implications are correct. I haven't
So-
figured out exactly how to do that yet.
Wasn't the whole point of like that story was that people used some magic but then didn't want to pay the price for that magic, and that's what caused it to be all bad and stuff?
An imbalance or disequilibrium, I think. It's part of the theory. Hard to account because words are rather inexact.
So couldn't those people just like pay the price and maybe it would go away? I
Maybe.
mean, seems like that would take a lot of convincing, and even I don't think I'm that good, so I'm pretty good.
Just as the cursed circlet was removed before I was too far gone and I could recover, and also you suggested that perhaps for Tanglefoot it's too late to recover, it may also be the case with the price. It builds too much and then can't be safely removed.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to discover. Maybe the Whisperer will have more answers if we can find out some way of convincing them.
Yeah. Maybe try to find a way to calm emotions and stuff. I mean, I have access to magic that does that, but I mean, we don't know how, what to expect from this
Oh, I think he's
creature.
perfectly calm because he's in control and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Chaos. That's
Dragon,
what
I
he wants.
See, with the dragon, it may be that we're early enough in the process that the red whisperer hasn't been able to fully integrate with the dragon. So there may be more of a chance of removing it without destroying the dragon, or having both of them integrate. That would mean the time is somewhat of the essence.
Maybe it's not corrupted by nightmares at all. Maybe that's not what's going on. Maybe it's just straight up manipulation.
It could be.
I don't
I do
know. I mean, the way they said that she's been sleeping, like
Makes
she
me
just,
think,
yeah.
the nightmares.
I mean, and like, do you really think that Tanglefoot is a nightmare entry? Like that, like the stuff that we've been dealing with, do you think that he's like a higher concentrated version of?
It's a theory. I think that at least they come from the same direction, if not necessarily composed of exactly the same thing. Just as just as ice and water are technically the same thing, but they do have different properties and do have different strengths and weaknesses. But the only way to really know in Tanglefoot's case would be to try to extract the nightmare, just as we've done before. But I think that would be a much more substantial nightmare. It may even be more resistant to actually being separated. And, well, if
We
we
have to
are
let him out.
parasite analogy,
Or we could test it on the red one.
Yeah.
it may have already consumed what was left of the underneath being too. So removing it is essentially removing almost all of it.
Well, we don't have to test it on Tanglefoot. We can keep him in the cage. I say we test it on the red one.
Yeah.
That seems like a good idea to me.
It'll be difficult, but I think it's worth it.
All right.
We've been
I'm
traveling
already
like this
tired.
whole time.
Yeah, so well, I mean, you didn't specifically say that previously, but I'm certainly agreeable to the idea that, like, the plan is that you are staying in the tower for the time being while they get closer to the place, with the expectation that the plan is to see if you can get close enough to watch and try to spot the raiding party leaving. And once they're gone, set yourselves up to be found by someone who's still there, where they will just find the abandoned wagon or whatever, and the tower's inside. Is that the idea?
Or we were gonna have Nedry go in invisible.
That works too?
Yeah, with the tower in his pocket.
Mm.
I would really rather not have the tower fall into somebody else's hands, even.
Wait, why does it have to be Nedry invisible?
Well, anybody who could be invisible.
I can make anybody invisible.
Okay.
So who's the sneakiest of the
Fine.
sneaky?
Not me, obviously. My 7 and 9.
I have a +7 to stealth.
+2. So probably maybe you.
I'm sure that'll go well.
I can bless you before you go too. I mean,
And I can give you aid.
yeah, I have that too. I think. I
Have
don't know
my
if I have that active or not.
Well, I think that sounds for a plan to make as we travel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Air
Well,
quotes.
so I think what I'm gathering is that we will bring tonight's session to a close, and next week we will resume with the arrival at the Azer compound / headquarters of Onara, the Red Dragon, and we'll see what you can do about this bad situation. But we'll find out when we return next week for more adventure on so many levels.
So many
Many
levels.
Many
levels.
levels.
I almost just said more adventure on Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, oh wait, but that's all right. Good night.
More
everyone.
Dungeons
Right.
and Dragons on so many adventures.
Yeah.